Right, let's talk about Jadon Sancho, shall we? And his comments after the game against Arsenal about his treatment by Eric Ten Hag. Wow, bit of a bombshell for the club that. Let me just read a passage of it to you, just we can digest it together. Please don't believe everything you read. I will not allow people saying things that is completely untrue. I've conducted myself in training very well this week. Well, I mean, first of all, it's clear who he's coming at, isn't it? He's not named Ten Hag at all, but this is in response to Eric Ten Hag's suggestion to a question, a fair question to him in the press conference after the game about why Jadon Sancho wasn't in the squad. And his reaction was kind of understandably and quite candidly because his level of performance in training, let's say, wasn't up to the standard he expects. I think he held back pretty well there. I think he could have really gone in on Sancho if he wanted to and slated him a lot more. But I think he's shielded this particular player quite a lot, hasn't he, since he's come to the club, given him a huge slice of benefit of the doubt, recognised that his fitness wasn't 100%, sent him away to the Netherlands to kind of recuperate and to rehabilitate almost, and kind of took him out of the limelight a little bit. Not really, or never really sort of commented on anything about him critically. Even this particular occasion, I think Eric Ten Hag said something quite professional about a way a player was performing in training, and a completely fair comment. If his training levels aren't up to standard and a journalist asks him outright why isn't he in the squad, what's he meant to do? Lie about it? I don't think he dressed it up pretty badly. I think he actually did a good job of almost playing it down a little bit. But I think in hindsight, even Eric Ten Hag will probably look at it and go, probably could have said something a little bit differently there to shield him from criticism. So in response to that, you see what Jadon Sancho said. Sancho goes on to say, all I want to do is play football with a smile on my face and contribute to my team. I respect all decisions that are made by the coaching staff. I play with fantastic players. I'm grateful to do so, which I know every week is a challenge. I'll continue to fight for this badge no matter what. This reminds you, doesn't it, a little bit of Cristiano Ronaldo last season when he had that infamous interview with Piers Morgan where he pretty much slated Eric Ten Hag in a similar way, really, but obviously sat down and recorded it on camera, which as a manager, there's only one thing you could do to that, and that is just draw a line under and say, that is not good enough. You can't undermine my authority. Can he do similar now after what Jadon Sancho has said? I don't really see how we can go in any other direction from this, do you? And I've tried to play kind of devil's advocate with this and think, two sides to every story and all of that. And I do feel like Ten Hag will probably look at it as a slight mismanagement in the way he worded it, perhaps, but he could have anticipated that question would be asked. Maybe he did, and that was his response. But it was only ever going to generate a level of curiosity about the Sancho situation and what exactly he might have done or not done in training to kind of provoke a response like that. Having said that, I'm trying to consider Sancho's response and how I feel about that. And the same way as I did about the Ronaldo response, really. Why would you do such a thing? What is the gain from this for him? I don't know who's advising Jadon Sancho, but whoever said to him, yeah, go on Twitter, go on social media, and say exactly how you feel. How's this going to go now? What did he expect was going to happen? He saw what happened with Cristiano. Does he think that Eric Ten Hag's going to kind of have a reconciliation with him? I doubt it very much. I think from what we know about Eric Ten Hag so far, his discipline is all-encompassing for all players, no matter their stature, and that's admirable. I respect that about him. So whenever there's a player that challenges his authority like Sancho's doing right now, I can only see it going one way. And do you know what? The frustrating thing is, it's such a waste. Jadon Sancho's clearly a very talented player. As soon as I read that statement from him, my first reaction was, Jadon, why? Why do that? It's the kind of thing I think in any workplace, you would go to your boss, speak to them in their office and go, I'm not happy. But then what other workplace would your boss publicly say that you weren't doing your role that well? So it's difficult in one respect, and I understand it. But as a mature young man, the best thing to do would be to talk it out. What blowback is there going to be from this now? Loads. What positive is there going to be for the club, first of all, which is, the first consideration of Eric Ten Hag? Zero. In fact, it makes the club look absolutely terrible and like there's real fractures behind the scenes. And I don't think there is. I think Sancho's probably an outlier. I don't think there's many that feel the way he does. Certainly doesn't seem that way to anyone looking into the club, does it? So yeah, Sancho has really, really burnt his bridges, it feels like. If Ten Hag was to come back from this somehow and try and patch it up and make this relationship work and for Sancho to be his best self again, I'd be very surprised because we all know what kind of discipline he instills and what he expects from his players. There's a kind of a pattern of it as well. I think from when you read about his time in Dortmund, for example, there were occasions where he was fined for missing training, or, you know, it was widely reported that he wasn't the most punctual. And same with Manchester City as well. When he was a youth player there were, you know, words being said about his attitude to training generally. Ten Hag's clearly seen something that he's not happy with about the player, tried to give him a chance to prove his worth and to turn it around. It's not going to happen now though, is it? That's it. Bridges burn. And that is the sad thing. So where we go from here, who knows? Clearly Sancho's going to have to leave the club. Manchester United have lost a lot of value on him because he's not been that great lately as a player when he has come on. And again, it's to Sancho's detriment really that he's not been playing brilliantly on the pitch, because he's got no leg to stand on. He can't turn around and say how valuable he is like he probably did at Dortmund. It's probably why he got some slack cut for him over there. But no such luxury will apply under Erik Ten Hag. And I've got to say, on balance, for the benefit of the club, that is best. And there's no Manchester United fan that isn't just gutted by this rather than angry. We're just gutted and annoyed at somebody doing something quite childish when it could have been dealt with in-house quite professionally. But no, that's it now for Jadon Sancho, I think. There's no turning back. I hope we get some decent money for him. But yeah, a real shame. I don't want to criticise Ten Hag too much. I feel like he was kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place when he was asked that loaded question by the journalist. Sancho could have responded a million times better. In fact, even better, he could have shut his mouth and just spoke to Ten Hag directly. So lessons to be learned from both sides. But I think when a manager's hand is forced the way that Ten Hag's has been, there's not really many other ways you can go after this, is there? Anyway, thank you for listening to me drivel on about Jadon Sancho and Manchester United. If you want to see more of our content about other Premier League clubs, not just United, please do hit like and subscribe. Help boost us in the algorithm, and hopefully see you back here soon. Thanks for watching.